Living in the DFW area, expansive clay soil and extreme weather conditions play havoc on homes' foundation. But thankfully, you can turn to Perma Pier Foundation Repair of Texas, who has successfully repaired over 20,000 properties and counting in the DFW area. With the most trusted, tried and true foundation repair methods, trust the professional staff of Perma Pier Foundation Repair to take care of your property, and most repairs are backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. Mention Inside Real Estate Radio when calling Perma Pier at 214-637-1444 or when booking online at permapier.com for your Inside Real Estate Radio discount.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, we are back. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruziniga. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. Hey, time to go into another informational segment about your foundations out there, all you homeowners and all you potential homeowners out there. We're going to talk foundation talk with our favorite folks over at Perma Pier. The website's permapier.com. That's permapier.com. Phone number is 214-637-1444 for all your foundation needs. Jared Benson is here live in studio. Jared, how we doing?
Doing good. Great. Thanks for having me on again this morning.
Good to talk to you again, and always learning new things from you. And so I'm wondering what we're going to learn today. I think we were going to talk a little bit about, when your home needs foundation repair and kind of how to go about that process. And so let's get into it.
That's right. It's since foundation repair is such a big business here in DFW and North Texas in general, there are a lot of companies that do it, a whole lot of companies. Something that maybe we can talk about in another time is just, what do you have to do to be a foundation repair company? You might be surprised at the answer. So,
right.
Little teaser there for you for another show.
That's right. Exactly. Scary.
Yeah.
It is scary.
So when do you need foundation repair? Some companies will get the reputation, and I've heard people say it about companies, then they'll say, that company will put piers on a doghouse. So there's obviously people who don't do it the right way.
Right.
And sometimes that may be from a lack of training or a lack of understanding, even apart from people who are just going to try and sell something just to make a dollar. So
absolutely,
let's get into it. Now on another show, we've talked about sheetrock cracks, and that's kind of one of the first things people see when there may be an issue. And that's the way I like to say it. Just because you see some signs of stress doesn't mean you have a foundation problem.
Right.
They're just possible indicators. So one thing that people see a lot of are sheetrock cracks in the brick around the outside of the home, doors and windows that won't close the right way, or doors that swing open or they swing shut or they won't lock, or just cracks throughout the house, flooring that's maybe tiles popping or something like that.
Exactly.
So a lot of variety of different things you can see, and they're all possible indicators of foundation issues. And so all of our guys at Perma Pier Foundation Repair are trained by licensed professional engineers on how to properly evaluate a foundation. And the way they train our guys, and I've sat in there and listened to them, and this is, the rare occasion that I look at a house too. This is what I take into account when I look at a house is 3 things need to be satisfied in order to recommend work for a house. The first one is what the engineer calls a propensity for further movement. Basically, is there a possibility that house is going to move more?
Right.
Well, as we've also talked about, there's clay in the soil here in North Texas, so that clay will move.
Yes.
So just about every house here in DFW, qualifies under check number 1.
Right. Just because of our geographic location.
Just because of geographical location, any house could possibly move, or most houses will say.
Right. So,
anybody could put a pier on a house if that was all you needed. Number 2 is that house, does it have a change in elevations? What I mean is that foundation exactly level, or is it a little bit off somewhere? Well, I don't know if you've ever tried to measure the floor in your house, but it's almost never exactly level. And I'm fairly confident I can say never.
Yes, I would agree.
It might be 1/10 of an inch off, but that's a change in elevations. So if that's where your knowledge stops, or that's where your justification stops, you can put a pier on almost every house here in DFW.
Sure.
But really, that's not a good place to stop, and I'll tell you why. Very, very smart mathematical people tend to plan and design the way homes are built, whether it's an architect or an engineer of some sort. They put all those plans together, and it all looks good on paper. But what happens when when people go out there and actually start doing the work. Those guys aren't the ones pouring concrete. They're not the ones leveling the foundation. Who knows what the day was like,
the weather
conditions, what those guys who did the work did the night before.
Exactly.
You never know exactly.
That's right. Human error.
Human error, yeah. So what you see a lot of times is that brand new foundations still have a variation in their levels. So that's not a good place to stop. And then the third thing, the kicker, really. That our engineers that we work with stress to our evaluators is you need to have a sign of stress. When I say sign of stress, that's all the things we talked about in the very beginning. It's a crack in the drywall, a crack in the brick, a door that's not opening or not shutting, or something like that. A sign of stress that goes along with that change in elevation, that correlates with it. So, if there's a small crack on the left side of the house and a change in elevation on the right side, that's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
It really needs to go together to where, it's pretty much common sense,
Mm-hmm.
Your house is down in one corner and you also have some cracks indicating that portion of the house is falling down.
Right.
Then you're not saying, oh, well, there's a change in elevation. What you're saying is the house has moved since it was originally built.
Right.
And that's when you may need some remedial repairs or something like that.
Yeah, and so it's gonna, folks, if you're kind of listening to what Jared's saying here, really goes to honesty. It goes to integrity of their company, whereas a lot of companies aren't going to go that far. As Jared said, we could probably put piers in every single house in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but that's not necessary. And so
absolutely,
it really is going to be obvious. So if you're, walking into the home, and let's say we walk towards a back bedroom, on the right-hand side, and you're going downhill, well, that's, we need to have some work done there. Or if you go off to the left of the property and the back side of the property in the kitchen, it just totally drops off.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's raised up. Maybe it's heaving.
Yeah. That happens too.
Or maybe there's a big hump in the middle, and to the left and the right, the properties both go downhill. Those types of things, folks, are really going to be kind of obvious, and this is when you need the folks at Perma Pier to come up with a good, solid plan on how to attack, getting your foundation taken care of. So, if you're listening, they're not looking to take advantage of you. They're going through all these extra steps to make sure you need the work. Because a lot of times, I've, gone into so many houses helping clients look at homes. How many times have I gone into a home that's had foundation work done and it didn't need to be done, and it's worse off after the foundation work?